Hey, you have probably seen this room a lot of time in my videos, and today I want to give you an in-depth tour of my workspace/home studio. If you're new here, hi, I'm Raj, and on my channel I upload videos in a vlog or cinematic format. At the moment, I'm a full-time 3D artist and a part-time content creator. With that said, let's get into the video. I hope you enjoy it. I want to start with the main highlight of this room, my workstation. This is something I built over time, and it's important for me as a 3D artist to invest into the right equipment. I use a Windows-based PC powered by Ryzen 9 7950X. It's a 16-core processor with 32 threads, which is amazing for heavy lifting and content creation and 3D. When you're running a performance processor like 7950X, to keep it cool, I use NZXT Kraken 360 Elite CPU cooler. It also has this really nice circular display that I can put sort of some pictures or GIFs and keep it run, and it runs in a loop. I think it's quite cool. For my PC case, I use Vision 11 OD. It's one of the most gorgeous cabinets I've seen. It's a full tempered glass housing, and it just looks gorgeous when you can see all the components inside the PC. And for a good airflow into the cabinet, I use a Be Quiet Light Wing RGB fans. They have this beautiful circular ring around the fans that I can change the color to any of my choices. For my GPU, I use MSI RTX 4090 Supreme Edition graphics card. It's one of the best graphic cards I've used, and if you want to get into 3D or gaming, that is the card you need at the moment. For my storage, I use 6 terabytes of Samsung SSDs, and for my backup drive, I use a 12 terabyte of hard drive by Seagate. The model is called Iron Wolf. Let's talk about the monitors. My work demands color accuracy, so for the monitors, I use a BenQ PD3205U as my main monitor, which is a Calman certified. And for the small generic gaming or videos and just something to watch on the side while I'm working, I use a small generic Amazon monitor, which is no brand, but it does the job well. For my audio, I use Kanto U2 desktop speakers and also purchased a separate 6-inch sub to complement the speakers. For my audio and voiceover needs, I use a Rode PodMic, which I really like. It has a really nice warmth and depth to the sound that I really prefer when I'm doing audio recordings. For my keyboard and mouse, I use the different options. I've got variety that I switch around, depends on my mood and what I'm trying to do. If I'm trying to be a bit more productive doing productivity work like Resolve, I prefer using something a bit more linear so it's quiet and nice. If I'm gaming or I'm typing, I prefer a bit more tactile, which is what you see behind me at the moment. This is a GMMK TKL tactile brown switches. And for the mouse, I'm switching between either gaming or productivity mouses like MX3S or a gaming mouse like Logitech G502 Hero. Really depends what I'm doing. For the lighting on my desk, I use a light bar by Xiaomi, and it comes with a 2.4 GHz wireless remote. You can press and turn around to control the color temperature of the light. You can see it's changing behind me. You can turn it on or off. You can also increase the intensity of the light, depends on your mood. I prefer keeping a bit more warm colors. I have additional 2 lights. One is a floating light just behind me that you see. This is a Sokani light. It only has 2 temperatures, warm and white. And also this is something I use as a bounce light when I'm recording videos. The last light on my desk is the mushroom lamp by IKEA. I do wish sometimes I had something I could control the intensity of, because sometimes you just want to use this as a fill light. This does the job now. I'll probably get something a bit nicer. Other couple of items on my desk are my wireless charger to charge my phone and my iWatch, and a couple of plants that I really love, but I forgot the name of these plants, and I'll try to find it for you and put in the description below if you're keen. This is a cactus, and this was the last addition to my desk. I absolutely love it. I got my backup drive and a pole to mount lights onto and cameras when I'm recording videos for desk and face headshots. On the other end of the desk, I've got my notebook and a fountain pen. I've got a really nice Skyline GTR. This is a Liberty Walk edition given to me by a friend of mine. Then I've got my mushroom lamp. Then I have a tray with some of the fragrances for the room, incense sticks and ultraviolet and study of trees, water diffuser fragrances. Then I've got my another plant here and a diffuser. And how did I even forget to talk about this bad boy right here? This is a Wacom Cintiq Pro 24-inch pen input display. That was a long name. This monitor right here and the monitor behind me, they are replicates. So whatever I do here happens on that monitor. So if I make a circle here, it will do it at the monitor there. But of course, I didn't buy this to make circles. If you're someone who's wanting to get into art or wanting to get a pen display, this is not the one you want. This is quite expensive and it's a professional grade pen tablet. So if you want to get something a little bit more cheaper, you can look into XP Pen or Huion for your needs. And of course, this video will be incomplete if we do not talk about the desk and the drawers. Let's get into it. Yes, it goes up and down. It took me quite a long time to figure out the cable management on this guy. I had to make sure nothing gets tied up on the legs of the table when the table was going up. So yeah, that's the result and I'm super happy about it. This table is a custom built desk. It was built by a friend of mine. The legs were purchased from internet, then the motor was purchased separately. Then I put it all together in this room. It's a L column desk, and on the sides I'm using Alex drawers by IKEA. And I'm using a small legs underneath just to raise the desk a little bit because I don't like when the IKEA Alex drawers was sitting just on the ground. We have finally covered this part of the room. Let's go to the next. Let's talk about this corner of the room. This is behind me an IKEA Kallax open cabinet. This is where I store a lot of my camera equipment and also the books that have inspired me over time. If I like an artwork of a film or a game, I tend to buy a book for them just to understand how an art and creation came into existence. I also store a lot of my camera equipment, lenses and stuff on this shelf as well. This is a basic shelf, but I think it's one of the best designs and very clean and minimal, and you can really use it to your needs. I have a lot of other random stuff on this shelf that I never use, but I think it just looks cool, so I tend to keep it there. I've also got another plant on top of the shelf, which is really, really pretty. And I love the vase. I feel like the texture of this is just so raw and very handmade, very rustic. That's something I really like about this flower pot. Being in the visual effects industries, I work with some of the big studios in existence. So this is something I want to show you guys. This is a memorabilia I got from Lucasfilms when I used to work on Star Wars, The Clone Wars Season 5. I was a crew on the show. This is the proof and I have it. I'm just very proud of this. This is a small plastic bit, but it means a lot to me. It tells me how far I've come in my career and what I've been through to get this. Very happy about this guy. And this is another figurine I got from the studio when I was working with them. He lost his gun, but I give him photos here and there. He holds photos now for memory. I've also got this really nice Yamaha R1M, a kit that I still haven't put together. And we'll talk a bit more about that later into the video when I talk about the suit on the wall. I also got this really nice factory packed original Mamiya RB6M lens. It's a 180mm L lens. This is fantastic. I've taken 2 shots with this ever since I've gotten this. But this, I'm telling you, its sharpness is incredible. I'll put the photo here. It's not something amazing, but something for you to see what the samples from this photo looks like. It's really tightly packed. I also have a Canon R6 Mark II. That's something that I use when I'm doing professional work, if I'm taking the work a bit too seriously. This is my rig at the moment. This is housing a 24-105 f4L lens. It's quite sharp. I know the L series in general is quite sharp when it comes to the optics. The performance is just really nice. And R6 Mark II is such a good hybrid camera for photos and videos. It's incredible. And the footage out of this is just immaculate. But yeah, I don't really get into the fight of Sony versus Canon. I just use what I want to use and what I feel like using. When it comes to portability and size, I carry my A6700, which is also I'm using at the moment to record the videos. The only thing I struggle with why I don't use this camera much at the moment is just because I don't have a wide angle lens for this. I need something a bit more like 16mm. That's why I avoid using this at home at the moment, but this was my goal why I got the 6700. But I will probably put this to use at some point, someday. The last part of the room is this corner. This is where I put my Alpine Stars GP race suit. Now this is something you wear when you're on a track doing race days or when you're in the hills doing stupid stuff on the motorbike. I do own a really nice motorbike and something I don't quite talk about often. Now I used to run a social media channel called Brownie on Wheels, but then I've kind of backed away from that scene and wanted to try something different, and that's where Unlikely Moment was born. So I had a fair bit of success on the motorbike channel. I had about 100,000 followers on TikTok and about 50,000 on Instagram. I don't really like to talk about it because I don't want it to come out like it's a flex, but I really left all that because I was not getting happiness out of it. I didn't enjoy it. And at that time, I also had a baby girl and that was a risky sport. So kind of backed away from it and wanted to be a bit more involved with my family. Hence, I got into doing Unlikely Moment. That was one of the biggest reasons I opened Unlikely Moment, because I do have a social media experience. Starting over sucks, I'm not gonna lie, but I know I can make it. I just need time and patience, which I have. So back to the suit. It's a leather suit. If you fall off the bike, then it protects you. And this suit tells stories which will stay between me and the suit. I don't want to talk about them. But yeah, I'll show you my bike as well. Actually, hold on. I don't want this channel to turn into a motorcycle channel, so I try to keep the life separate of what I do on the motorbike. I don't really want to upload video, but I thought this was connected to why I have a race suit on the wall. I kind of give you a little bit of backstory on it. I may put some clips of the motorbike in this video and then just wrap it up and never talk about it again. I completely forgot one area to show you guys. So just opposite my desk, I've got 3 sliding doors. So 3 mirrors, there are 3 sliding doors. And behind this is supposed to be a closet, but I like to use this as my boxes, like where I store all the boxes. So if you slide one door, this is pretty much I store all my boxes. I never throw them away. I hoard the boxes. I don't know. I just have this weird thing about keeping just in case I want to sell down the line. It will have more resale if I got all the boxes. In the middle section, I've got a few organized boxes with the labels. So like I've got film negatives, then I've got like camera straps, PC cables, USB cables, and some other boxes, some pens. At the bottom, I store all my backpacks, tripods, my helmets, my monitor boxes. And then I've got a couple of wraps on that corner because I used to wrap motorbikes. So I kind of have that in one corner. And I've got a couple of posters from the films I used to work on. This is a poster from the movie. Oh, that's Alien, you might have guessed. I'll show you guys some other day. I want to talk about the film, like my whole career, how it started. I'll probably talk about it at some point. And the third one, if you slide the mirror door, is pretty much a wall. There's nothing really to do. I don't really understand the purpose, probably for some piping or something, I guess, for the AC units. So I guess that's behind the wall, but that's pretty much it. Before I wrap up the video, I just want to say that thank you for checking out my video. Everything in this room defines me who I am as a person, and everything here has a story. It reminds me of who I was and how far I have come. If there's any questions about any item or product in the video that you see, ask me and I'll try to get back to you as soon as I can, or just drop a comment below and I'll reply to you as soon as I read them. Anyways, thank you so much for checking out my video. I hope you enjoyed this one, and if you have stayed so far into it, I really appreciate your time. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.